in today's program, we will talk about certain items which are not part of the camera, but without which sometimes it becomes very difficult for the cameraman to get the desired result. These are known as accessories. Now, we will see some of the accessories, though there is no end to the accessories, because people manufacture their own accessories, they make their own accessories to get the desired result. However, some of them are filter and lens hoods. First, we will begin with filters. We will take filters now. Filter is an accessory for the photography purposes. It consists of an optical filter which can be inserted into the optical path of a camera. Filters can be round, as we can see here, they can be square, they can be oblong also, and sometimes we use papers also which we tie in front of the lens and we get the effect that we want. Commonly, these are the glass filters or plastic filters, as I have already shown you, and they are available in the market in a huge variety and for different purposes. We will see the purposes one by one. Let us understand as to what does a filter do. Basically, a filter modifies an image. For example, if you are seeing a blue color in the sky and we want to shoot into black, we have filters to turn the sky into black. We have a film which is, say for example, a tungsten based film or type B film, but we want the results which are normal to the eye. Therefore, we use a blue filter to bring up the temperature of the film and get a result which looks normal to the eye. As I have said, there is a huge variety of filters available, but for ease of understanding we can put them into certain categories. For example, clear filters or ultraviolet filters, or color conversion filters, color correction filters. We have filters for contrast enhancement, we have filters as known as polarizers, neutral density, cross screen, diffusion filters, and even close up or split diopter lenses. These are the categories into which generally we have described the filters. We also have another thing which is known as special effect filters. We will see them, as I said, one by one. We will see clear filter. This filter is nothing but a piece of glass which is mounted in front of the camera and thereby protecting the lens. On the other hand, we have ultraviolet filters. These filters, they cut out the ultraviolet rays or the haze from the environment and give you a better or a sleeker picture. A UV filter passes all or most of the visual spectrum and blocks ultraviolet radiation. Sometimes what we do is we leave this lens or this filter on the lens, thereby protecting it, at the same time always cutting out the ultraviolet light entering the film. In the case of digital cameras, this filter helps in cutting out purple fringing, which is one of the defects that occurs in the case of shooting with digital SLR. Let us discuss a little more about the ultraviolet or the clear filters. The advantages are, if the lens is dropped, the filter may suffer scratches or damages instead of the front element. The filter can be cleaned, at the same time the lens remains intact. Suppose we are shooting in the desert, then the sand which is blowing around us does not reach the lens and thereby protecting it from scratches. Sand is something which causes maximum damage to any electronic or any mechanical equipment. The disadvantages could be that it comes in the way of light, thereby maybe reduces the light a bit, or at times adding UV filter or a clear filter may sometimes be considered to be causing reduction in the quality of image, or at times it can be possible that the lens hood which we fit onto the lens may not fit properly because the filter extends beyond the lens. Thirdly, it is said that it can cause sometimes a flare because of the reflection and multiple reflections within the filter. The filters here are color balancing. Now, if we have, as I said earlier on, tungsten film, the temperature of which is 3200 degrees Kelvin, we can enhance the temperature and bring it to 5500 degrees by using a blue filter. Similarly, on the other hand, if we have a film which is balanced for daylight, but we want to have the effect of say reduced temperature, then we have a filter which can be used to bring down the temperature and we get the colors or the results which look normal to the eye. In monochrome or black and white photography, color filters are more effective. For example, if you want to change the color of the sky from light blue to darker blue or to little darker, then we use a orange filter. If we use red filter, then the entire sky will become black. Similarly, if we have a deep green filter, then the sky will become darker, but the trees that are there in the surrounding will become almost white, thereby giving it a beautiful contrast. Therefore, in black and white photography, color filters play a very important role. They can give you results as per your desire or at the same time as per your creativity. On the other hand, a blue filter will convert the sky into pure white, and if there are any clouds, even they will be eliminated. One of the most important and most widely used filter which can be used both for black and white and also for color photography is known as a polarizer. A polarizer can be round, it can be square, it can be in any shape that I have already mentioned. The point to note is that polarizer cuts out the light from a direction, particular direction, say from the right hand side or from the left hand side up to 90 degrees and beyond also, but the effect is just the reverse of as it is in the case of less than 90 degrees. The point to note is that it cuts out reflection, it cuts out, suppose for example, you are shooting a surface which contains water and the reflection of the water is not coming proper, there is shimmering effect, then a polarizer will cut out the shimmering and will give you a beautiful reflection of the say sky or the mountains or the landscape in the water. Polarizer can also darken the sky or lighten the sky because as we move it at an angle, the effect keeps on varying, and when you get the desired effect, you start shooting. Next we have neutral density filters. These are plain pieces of say filters which are of gray color. Their purpose is to cut out the extra light which is coming onto the film. Suppose for example, you want a very shallow depth of field, but you have a great amount of light, then this filter will come in handy to reduce the light coming in, thereby you increase the aperture, that is the iris, and you get a shallow depth of field. Another thing with the ND filters is that the ND filters also come in a graduated form, that is to say the upper half can be like the light is very strong on the upper half, then that can be cut down, while at the lower end the light is less, and thus you can balance a picture. These are known as graduated neutral density filters. Another category of filters is known as the star filters or cross screen filters. You must have seen some night shots where every light that is there looks like a star It can be a single cross, it can be double cross, it can be 3 times cross, it can have 8 ends, but they all are created using a star filter. It is very creative, and anyone who knows how to use these filters can add drama to the picture. Then we have a diffusion filter. It is also called softening filter, and in this you can create a dreamy effect, and it is particularly used for models where you want the models to be almost looking like dreaming, and these kind of pictures are mostly taken in the case of females. What really happens is that the two lines which may otherwise look very distinct, they merge into each other, thereby creating a flow in the picture. You can create diffusion filters at home also by taking a clear filter and by smudging it with a Vaseline or with a cream which does not show very clearly onto the filter. This will give the same effect as you get in the case of a diffusion filter. The amount of diffusion that you want depends upon you. You can accordingly smudge the filter with a cream. Next we have is the close-up filters. These filters enable you to go closer to the subject and thereby take a close shot of the subject. These come in various sizes and various diopters. For example, here is one which I have loaded onto this camera, and there is another one which can take me even closer to the subject, thereby giving me a larger magnification. However, my personal experience is that these are not very useful and they do not come out with the results which one requires when it comes to taking close-ups. I prefer to use other material, for example, macro lenses, or for example, even extension tubes to go closer to the subject. One of the major disadvantages in my opinion is that it offers very shallow depth of field. As you can see, filters come in various sizes and they can be fitted onto various cameras by virtue of the arrangements that are made with that. Here, for example, I will show you how a square, a Cockn filter can be loaded onto a or can be mounted onto a 52 millimeter Nikon lens, for which I already have a filter which fits in here. But suppose I want another filter to be used on this, then I have arrangements here. I can now we have this arrangement. On this I can fit any of these lenses or the filters and take the picture according to my choice. Now this filter is available to me. I can use this filter and take the picture. The second is that I can remove this filter and put a blue filter. It is much easier than every time removing the circular filter and putting another circular filter. And another thing which I find is that we can put a circular polarizer, for which a special window is made here. This polarizer fits in here and it can be moved to get the right kind of reflection or the colors or the sky and the angle at which we want. This is one of the best arrangements that I have found as far as use of filters is concerned. Filter size is one of the important factors when it comes to manufacturing an equipment or for that matter buying an equipment. For example, Nikon have tried a lot to bring you the filter size of 52 millimeter. Therefore, all the lenses that I have or the filters that I have are of 52 millimeter size, and I do not have to run around for a new filter every time. For example, I have a filter here. This filter is much bigger than 52 millimeter. So, it is a soft tone filter, but I use it for another camera. I do not use it for Nikon, though mind you I can arrange this even on another filter by having some kind of arrangement or some kind of this kind of a system which gives me extra diameter, but this has its own disadvantages. In all cameras at some stage or the other you have to have more than filter. For this I think the cock-in filters are the best, whereby you just need another adjustment and that is all. You can put any put them onto any camera and use the filters. Same set of filters can be used for different cameras by changing only one arrangement. Filters add extra effects or abilities to the working of a camera system. Understanding how filters work is very important in order to get the kind of results that you want. In the case of ultraviolet filters, one should not go in for cheaper variety of filters because they play a very important role besides protecting the lens. One should buy a good quality ultraviolet filters so that they are used creatively, at the same time they protect your lens from scratches or other disabilities which can occur. Lens hood is a very important accessory as far as taking a picture is concerned. It cuts out the flare. But when you overdo a lens hood, then it can cause a defect which is known as vignetting. Now, therefore, for different kind of lenses, we have different kinds of lens hoods. For example, this is a lens hood which I use for 28 millimeter lens, but if I use it on a 20 millimeter lens, it will cause vignetting. It will in fact come in the way of my picture and cut my picture, and I will show you a picture of this kind. Similarly, if I take a 28 millimeter lens and use this hood, then it is serving no purpose because it is covering much wider than what is expected. Therefore, it has no purpose. Similarly, we have lens hoods which are built in, like this one. This is a telephoto lens and it has a built in lens hood. Now, this lens hood does not require anything extra and it is perfect. It is made for this. It will never cause any problems. Similarly, for this lens that I have got, the lens hood is built in. It is given to me as a separate item. I can fix it here and use it. So, it will protect my camera, my film, my photograph from flare effect. This is yet another kind of lens hood which is used with 80-200 millimeter lens which I have got. Therefore, lens hoods are very important. They come in various sizes. They have different results. The basic purpose of lens hood is to cut out flare. If we have a narrow lens hood or a wide lens hood, it is preferable that we use a wider one because it might give you the desired result, but the one which has got a narrower view, it is definitely going to affect your picture. To conclude, today we saw some of the important accessories which are available for making your picture more creative, make it more useful, make it as per your choice. The advantages and disadvantages have been discussed. Just to sum it up, for example, we have the filters which can, particularly in the case of monochrome or black and white pictures, can give dramatic effects. We also have polarizer which can be used for both color and black and white photography. Then we have other filters like ND filters and so on. We also have lens hoods as accessory which help us to cut out the flare. That is all we have for you today. Thank you.